Today I am going to talk about game accessibility for eye gaze users. Hello, my name is Becky and I am 18 years old. I have quadriplegic cerebral palsy. I use a communication aid with my eyes to talk, and I absolutely love playing video games with my eye gaze. I will try to explain how eye gaze technology works. On my computer there is an eye tracker, which consists of special cameras, a light source and image processing algorithms. The eye tracker bounces near-infrared light off my eyes and the cameras take high-resolution images which show the position of the reflections of the light on my eyes. The position of these reflections is different depending on where I am looking on the screen. So sophisticated algorithms can analyze these images and calculate where I am looking on the screen. Accessing websites and other software in Windows can take a lot of practice and perseverance to learn to control the mouse cursor with eye gaze. Painting patterns and pictures with my eyes using Windows Art software was very good for me to improve my eye control. These are some of my eye gaze paintings. I used ArtRage software to create them. If you live in the UK, you might have spotted me on Grayson's Art Club on Channel 4 a few weeks ago. I have been playing video games since I was about 7 years old. I started with fairly simple games like Mushy Monsters and Club Penguin. I progressed on to more advanced games such as The Sims as my eye control improved. There are some games that I wish I could play, but I can't because they are inaccessible to eye gaze. For example, I'd really like to play Minecraft Story Mode, but I can't because it is inaccessible to eye gaze. The sorts of things that make game inaccessible are having lots of controls that need to be simultaneously coordinated. My eyes can only look at and activate one control at a time. An important aspect of eye gaze is that I have to stare or dwell on an item for a certain length of time in order to select or activate it. Therefore, any game that requires fast reactions won't work well with eye gaze. Some games, like Minecraft, lock the mouse pointer to the center of the screen, so it is impossible to use with standard eye control software. Finally, games needing coordinated input from a keyboard and mouse at the same time are impossible to use with eye gaze. Thankfully, there are games that are partially or fully accessible to eye gaze users. Fully accessible games are mouse-controlled games such as Among Us and The Sims. These can be accessed using the standard eye control software. Other games could be made accessible using an eye gaze interface, which overlays the game. Some of you may be familiar with the iMine interface to Minecraft, which was developed by the gamer's charity Special Effect. I will be talking more about this and the other games listed here. Today, one of my favorite games to play is The Sims, and this is fully accessible to eye gaze users using standard eye control software. This is a game where I can create characters, what they look like and what they wear, build the house they live in and tell them what to do as they live their simulated life. I love creating Sims of people I know and inventing different scenarios for them to live out. To play The Sims, my eye gaze can perform all the mouse actions needed to control the Sims and their world. There is no special interface needed or adaptations required, but it does need very good eye control, as some of the items are very small to select. I learned how to create my own custom content for the game. For example, my Sims can wear special effect t-shirts. I love to play challenges with my Sims. For example, I have played Hunger Games with them and found different ways to make them die. Minecraft is an awesome game, and I love it because it is so much fun, and it allows me to be very creative, and I can play it with my friends too. For a long time, I loved watching YouTube videos of Minecraft, and I couldn't wait to be able to play it myself. But I got very frustrated because it was not accessible to me with eye gaze, and I felt I was missing out. So in 2014 I asked Special Effect, well actually I nabbed them, to develop an eye gaze interface to Minecraft. We started with a prototype keyboard in the Grid 2 which gave me access for the first time. As I played, I was able to improve the Grid 2 interface so that I could easily access all the game features and options that I wanted. However, Grid 2 software was expensive and so it was not a long-term solution for eye gaze users who wanted to play the game. So Special Effect developed a new interface called iMine, which was built using a program called OctKey, which is a free open source program. This is what playing Minecraft looks like for an iMine user. The Minecraft window is at the top, and the iMine interface is at the bottom. There are different levels of iMine difficulty, and this is the beginner option. It just has 5 big buttons to look at to make playing the game easy for a beginner. Some eye gaze users do not have such good eye control, so it was important to have an interface that gives them access to the game. This is an advanced level custom interface of iMine. I worked with Kirsty McNaught at Special Effect to help with the iMine development. I tested beta versions of the interface at home and gave Kirsty feedback. I emailed my experiences and suggestions for improvement, based on what I wanted to do in the game and how I found it easiest to play. Another game I really love to play is called Star Stable. It is an adventure game where you get to explore different places with your horse, and you have to learn to look after your horse along the way. It is controlled by various keyboard key presses, which isn't so easy to do with eye gaze. When I started playing this game, I had to use the on-screen keyboard, and it was quite tricky to play. So I started developing a custom keyboard interface in Grid 3. This was my first prototype, and my first attempt at designing an interface. I edited my design and did all the coding with eye gaze. Unfortunately, after much effort, it just didn't work. So I learned XML and converted it to a free OctKey interface that other eye gaze gamers could use. is a video showing an early prototype of my OptiKey interface to Star Stable. Crater is another game that I love. It is a fairly new sandbox-style game that runs on Google Stadia and Epic Games on PC that allows the player to create their own online games to play with their friends. I am working with Kirsty McNaught and Unit 2 Games to help develop and test an iGaze interface to Crater, again using OptiKey. This video shows part of an adventure game I am developing for the Yogscast YouTubers. Microsoft Flight Simulator is quite complicated to play and requires simultaneous input from a controller or from a keyboard and mouse. So it is not iGaze accessible. However, I have been able to play around with some of the keyboard commands in XML and create this very early prototype in OptiKey, which allows me to fly a plane including takeoff and landing.
Okay, we're past the threshold. Start the flare. Keep pulling back slowly. Let the plane settle onto the runway. Don't push it down, but don't let it start climbing. Nice. Now apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Great job. As they say, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. But if you can use the plane the next day, it's outstanding.
So what makes a game good for iGaze users to play? It is important for iGaze users of all levels to be able to play. Therefore, there may need to be different levels of iGaze interface to the game. Targeting items on the screen with your eyes can be difficult if the items are very small, so it is good to be able to increase the size of the gaming window to make the targets bigger and easier to select. When selecting an item on the screen, the user has to stare at it for a set length of time. This is called the dwell time. Different users prefer different dwell times, so it is good to be able to adjust this in the game, otherwise some users will get frustrated. Another important consideration is the sensitivity of iGaze controls. For example, how much will an in-game character move when a control is selected? If a game needs precision, it is also good to have what I call careful controls that will move things very carefully and slowly so that precise movements of characters or objects in the game can be achieved. For a game like Roblox where you are controlling a character, but also need to keep watch on other things happening in other parts of the screen, it is good to have third-person game controls which are centered on the character. Finally, for older-style Windows control software, the ability to play a game in windowed mode is essential to allow the eye controls to be accessible. Gaming is very important to me. It is important to me to be able to do as much as I can independently, because it can be quite frustrating at times waiting for help from other people. iGaze technology allows me to play some video games totally independently using my eyes. I don't need anyone else to help me play, which is very important to me. It is great fun and it gives me a huge sense of achievement. I've been able to learn from YouTube videos how to do lots of new things in my games, and then I've been able to put what I have learnt into my own games and online worlds. I can make many different objects for my builds and make things personal to me and express my creativity. One of the great things about Minecraft is that you can go into different worlds and play with your friends. Once I went onto a Minecraft server of Disney World, and I was able to explore it and go on some of the rides with other Minecraft players from around the world. This is not so easy for me to do in real life. So gaming also allows me to do things that are difficult for me to do in real life, like walk, run, fly and visit places in other countries. I can play games at home or online with my friends, and we can have fun together. My disability almost disappears when I am gaming. Having access to video games has changed my life. It has allowed me to be totally included in the fun as an equal player, and it has meant I've had more in common with my friends. I've been able to join in conversations about gaming too. It has also changed the way that my friends see me and interact with me. It makes me feel less disabled. I hope more video games will be accessible to iGaze users like me in the future. I hope players with severe physical disabilities will be included from the beginning when designing video games. I am looking forward to seeing more intuitive and creative user interfaces that are iGaze accessible in future. And finally, I hope gamers like me become more involved in the design, development and testing of video games. Thank you for listening to my talk.